An ancient signal echoes from a forgotten world, but uncovering its secrets could cost them everything. Don't miss out on the best. Subscribe now to my YouTube channel and join this amazing community. Every week, new adventures, tips, and much more await you. Hit the subscribe button and activate the bell to stay always up to date. In a forgotten corner of the galaxy, an explorer named Selene picks up a signal lost in time. Her ship, the Horizon, is on a stellar mapping mission when the systems register an unusual transmission. The signal appears to come from Nebula, a planet believed lost for centuries. Selene, intrigued yet cautious, decides to trace the source, suspecting she might uncover forgotten secrets. However, something in the signal's frequency sends chills down her spine, like an echo from the past begging to be heard. Selene consults the historical records of Nebula and discovers that it was once a legendary planet, abandoned after an inexplicable catastrophe. The ancient chronicles mention a great cataclysm, but the details are vague and filled with contradictions. Intrigued, she shares her findings with her co-pilot, Kai, who warns her of the potential dangers. However, Selene's curiosity is stronger, and soon the Horizon changes course toward the source of the mysterious signal. Both know this journey will take them to a part of the galaxy few dare to venture into. The Horizon reaches Nebula's orbit, and Selene and Kai are captivated by the planet, shrouded in a bluish mist. From their position in space, they can see strange cloud formations and sporadic flashes on the surface. The signal is stronger than ever, resonating within the ship's systems. Selene feels something on the planet awaits them, an echo of past lives that persists despite time. She decides to descend and explore the surface, ignoring Kai's warnings of the potential danger. Upon landing, they find a desolate, eerie landscape where nature seems frozen in time. The ruins of an advanced civilization stretch beneath a sky emitting iridescent hues. As they proceed, the signal intensifies, as if guiding them to a specific location. Selene can't help but feel drawn in, as if the planet is alive and calling her. Kai, however, remains vigilant, one hand on his blaster and the other on his communication gear, ready for the unexpected. As they explore the ruins, Selene and Kai activate a translation device to decipher ancient inscriptions. They uncover fragments of stories about a great discovery and an immense energy Nebula harnessed to advance its civilization. However, the texts also warn of a cost, a shadow that began to consume the planet. Selene feels every word connects her more deeply to the history of this world, as if she's reliving the memories of its former inhabitants. Kai, increasingly concerned, suggests they return to the ship, but Selene insists on continuing. As they proceed, they hear distant echoes, like whispers emanating from the abandoned structures. The sounds resemble voices trapped in time, repeating incomplete and confusing phrases. Selene believes it's a kind of psychic resonance left by the inhabitants, a call for help that was never answered. However, Kai begins to suspect the signal might be a trap from the same darkness that destroyed Nebula. Following the signal, they reach what seems to be the heart of Nebula's ancient civilization, an enormous city built from crystal and metal. The towers rise toward the sky, reflecting flashes of light that seem alive. The city, though in ruins, retains an eerie beauty that leaves Selene breathless. Kai observes how the signal seems to originate from the depths of the city, beneath the main structures. Both know this discovery could change the course of their mission. As they move toward the city's center, they find warning symbols on the walls and strange statues of hooded figures. Selene feels each step brings her closer to a hidden truth, while Kai grows uneasy as the atmosphere becomes denser and more oppressive. The shadows seem to shift and follow their steps, as if the planet itself is watching them. Despite the danger, Selene presses on, driven by insatiable curiosity and the sense that destiny has brought her here. At the city's heart, Selene and Kai find a crystal chamber with an altar surrounded by luminous symbols. In the center, an energy sphere pulses, emitting a hypnotic glow that fills the room. Selene understands that this is the source of the signal, the energy core that powered Nebula, and perhaps the cause of its destruction. Kai, fearful, asks her not to approach, but Selene feels inexplicably drawn to the energy. When she extends her hand toward the sphere, she experiences a series of chaotic visions that make her stagger. In them, she sees Nebula's ancient inhabitants using the energy to achieve incredible advancements, but also scenes of destruction and chaos. The energy had transformed their minds, turning them hostile and violent until their civilization fell apart. Seeing this, Selene realizes that the energy is both a source of power and a curse, a trap that ensnared Nebula's civilization in a cycle of self-destruction. Suddenly, the ground trembles, and shadows begin to emerge from the walls, forming spectral figures. Nebula's former inhabitants, now turned into dark energy entities, manifest before Selene and Kai. Their faces are ethereal, their eyes voids, and their bodies float as though trapped between dimensions. Kai raises his weapon, but Selene stops him, sensing that these beings aren't entirely hostile. Nebula's guardians, former protectors of the energy sphere, seem to communicate something to Selene through mental images. They show her how their own power consumed them, preventing their escape and warning her that any attempt to control it will lead to destruction. Selene understands that while these figures are shadows of what they once were, they still fulfill their duty to protect the core. Kai, still wary, urges her to leave before the planet consumes them too. Tormented by what she has learned, Selene finds herself at a crossroads. She knows that the energy core is a valuable resource, but also a threat to any civilization that tries to harness it. Kai insists they destroy or abandon the core, but Selene believes there is a way to seal it without unleashing its destructive power. Both argue, aware that their decision could define the fate of other worlds. Selene chooses to attempt a containment ritual she read about in the inscriptions, a process involving a risky energy transfer. Kai, though concerned, decides to support her and helps prepare the ritual. They both feel the tension in the air, and the city's oppressive silence surrounds them, as if the planet itself is holding its breath. Selene knows there is no room for error, and as she places her hands on the sphere, she braces for the final challenge. Selene begins the ritual, reciting words that resonate in the chamber's emptiness. The energy sphere starts to shake, emitting violent flashes that seem to defy her attempt at containment. Kai watches anxiously as the Guardian's dark energy begins to surround her, as though trying to prevent her interference. Selene, feeling the pressure of the forces around her, remains steady, focused on sealing the energy. The sphere resists, showing images of devastation and chaos, but Selene persists with the ritual. Finally, a flash of light fills the chamber, and the energy begins to condense in the center, losing its chaotic form. The Guardians watch silently, their ethereal faces showing a mix of sadness and relief. Selene feels she has successfully contained the core, but knows the cost has been high, and she has touched something far more powerful than she imagined. With the core contained, Selene and Kai prepare to leave the Crystal City, but Selene begins to notice a change in herself. Her body emits a faint glow, and her mind is flooded with fragments of memories that don't belong to her. Nebula's former inhabitants seem to have left a mark on her, a connection that will forever bind her to the planet. Kai, worried, tries to convince her to leave before the effect becomes irreversible. As they return to the ship, Selene realizes her bond with Nebula is deeper than she thought. Her sacrifice has left an imprint on her being, and while they manage to contain the core, she feels that some of Nebula's darkness will follow her. Kai promises to support her through whatever lies ahead, aware that they have been irrevocably changed. Selene, with a mix of sadness and relief, bids farewell to Nebula, knowing the planet will remain an echo of those who tried to control it. The horizon moves away from Nebula, but Selene and Kai know they will never forget what they experienced. Back in space, Selene drafts a report to warn other explorers about the dangers of Nebula and the energy contained in its core. Her message is clear: there are knowledge and powers that should not be touched, as the consequences may endure beyond time and life. Kai watches Selene, who now seems to carry with her a glow from another world, a reminder of her connection to Nebula. Both know they have changed, that their journey showed them the limits of ambition and the price of defying unknown forces. As the horizon sails into the vast darkness of space, Selene promises to remember Nebula's lessons and to always respect the mystery of lost worlds. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and comment.